You guys
Put her in
ready?
the middle.
I just need to climb under this table.
I'm ready. Are y'all?
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the King George County School Board. We're going to have Reverend James Shaw from the Angus Day Lutheran Church will be leading the invocational prayer.
This prayer is a slight adaptation of a prayer given on March 27th, 2000, at the United States House of Representatives by the Reverend Daniel P. Cloughlin. We voluntarily pray. We pray to you, Almighty God and eternal God, ever present to all our undertakings and all our needs. Touch every aspect of our lives with your holiness. Endow us with faith as we begin a school board meeting. May your divine wisdom direct all our deliberations and be revealed in all the proceedings. May the gracious work of your Spirit in us preserve peace, promote county school happiness, and increase in the people of this county dedication to education, a sense of compassion for others, and a useful pursuit of knowledge, so that the blessings of so many in this county may be extended to all with equal liberty. May the board and this county be preserved in unity and enjoy the peace which the world cannot give, a deep and abiding peace, which is your gift alone to give. We pray to you who live and reign forever and ever. Amen.
Now we have the Sealston Chorus Club that will be leading us in the pledge.
All right, go deep voice. The flag
Of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with peace and justice for all.
Standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, Sealston, let's hear a little bit about your club.
My name is Rashad, and I am a member of Wilson Elementary School Chorus student. Chorus students in 4th and 5th grade are able to join chorus and sing in concerts and communicate events and community events. In chorus, we practice singing skills, and work as a team to create beautiful music. We practice every Monday after school.
Hi, my name is Emmy. My mom, Miss Schellenberger, is our director. I've been watching the chorus practice since I was in kindergarten, and I couldn't wait to join. This year, I am excited to finally join the group. Last night, we had the opportunity to perform at the King George tree lighting ceremony.
Hi, my name is James. Chorus members look forward to singing at the tree lighting event each year. We sing and then enjoy hot chocolate, fun activities, and watch our town's tree light up for the season. Next Monday night at 6 p.m., we will be performing our winter concert along with Silston's beginner band. Please consider joining us to see all of our hard work. Mrs. Schallenberger brought save the dates for you. We hope to see you there.
Thank you. You guys did a great job. Let's give them a hand. So, board members, you have any questions for any of these young singers?
Thank you for coming and being so brave and leading us in our pledge tonight. And thank you for being, I was at the tree lighting last night too, so we got to see all that happen. Thank you.
Well, I'll ask a common question, I guess. With any one of you, what would you say is the most fun? Is it the lighting and the celebration next week, or what happened during the year that was a lot of fun? Anything?
It's really fun to stay after school and practice singing because you get to be there with your friends.
Good, thank you. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. We've been really excited to come and share with you about chorus.
Well, thank you so much. Was there going to be a picture? Thank you so much. All right, now we have some recognitions. The first one is the holiday card winners.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Each year, our school division hosts a holiday card contest, and students get to submit their original artwork for consideration to be used on our division greeting card. And every year, the students continue to just amaze us with all of their talent and creativity. This year is certainly no exception, and we do have a short video to highlight all of this year's submissions for our pleasure tonight. And as you may have noticed, from the video, this year our King George County Schools card features art from two different students. The first student is Angie Aguinada Pinto from King George Elementary. And Angie, if you want to come on down, we have your certificate. And our second student artist featured on the card this year is Tessa Smith from King George High School. Congratulations to you both, and thank you so much for sharing your talents with us, and your art goes out on all of the division greeting cards that we share. So thank you very much. We're going to do a picture. Would it be okay if we come up to the stage?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So ladies, if you wouldn't mind going up on the stage, there's stairs right there. We're going to do a group picture, and if your parents want to come down, they're welcome to take pictures too. And if your art teachers are here, they're welcome to join. I see Miss Pellegrin. I'm not sure if Miss Maples is here.
Thank you again. Some of those showed a lot of talent and artistry. They were all great, but thank you so much for those who participated in that. All right, now we have the Teacher of the Year.
Good evening. And I'd like to say welcome to everyone this evening. And I think it's very appropriate that we have a full house of students here in the building with us to recognize our Teachers of the Year from all of the buildings. Tonight, we honor the outstanding dedication, passion, and commitment of 6 exceptional educators who have made a profound impact on the lives of their students and on our community. These 6 teachers were chosen as the Teacher of the Year in their respective schools, and this evening we have the opportunity to celebrate these remarkable individuals. So Dr. Boyd, if you wouldn't mind coming down and helping us as we call each of these teachers to the front to be recognized. And teachers, as I call your name, if you would make your way to the front, I'm going to share some of the remarks that were provided to us by your supervisor, your administrator, because they just say so much about all that you do in our classrooms each day. So, John, if you could advance it. So, Paige Strayer, if you would make your way down, and I'm going to start reading. I don't think they can handle all of that. Paige Strayer has taught at the preschool since 2014, and she currently teaches the 3-year-old class. Paige has the respect and admiration of her students, parents, and colleagues. She intuitively knows what each student needs and responds quickly to support that need. She is patient, understanding, and shows a passion for each child. Her positive attitude creates an ideal environment for coworkers and students. She is willing to help her colleagues whenever it is needed, and she serves as a role model and mentor to new and existing staff each year. And those comments were provided to us by Ms. Lori Wages, the coordinator of preschool and mandated services. pages. You just wait right here. Next, we have Miss Leanne Lewis from King George Elementary. With over 18 years of experience, Miss Leanne Lewis is a dedicated and passionate elementary school teacher. Leanne currently teaches 4th grade and encourages students to reach their highest potential. Her ability to build positive relationships with students, parents, and colleagues creates a supportive learning environment where every child can thrive. She is an exceptional educator whose passion for teaching will continue to inspire and impact the lives of her students, colleagues, and community for years to come. And that is from Mr. Ronald Monroe, the principal at King George Elementary. Our next teacher of the year is Miss Laura Leonard from Potomac Elementary. Miss Laura Leonard has been teaching in King George since 2011 and is currently teaching 2nd grade. Not only is Laura a highly skilled and dedicated teacher, she is also a wonderful and kind human being. She plays an active and meaningful role in the school and community. Laura builds strong, trusting relationships with her students and their families. She provides support and guidance to new teachers to ensure they are provided with all the tools they need to effectively teach students. And those remarks were given to us by Dr. Melinda Brown, the principal at Potomac. Our next teacher of the year is from Sealston Elementary, and it is Miss Kelly Barnes. Ms. Barnes has served as a dedicated and inspiring educator for 8 years at Sealston, embodying the highest qualities of excellence in teaching and mentorship. In her 5th grade classroom, Kelly goes above and beyond to support her students in every way, prioritizing their academic growth, social emotional well-being, and individual needs. She has a natural gift for fostering lasting relationships and building a classroom environment where students feel seen, valued, and motivated to achieve their best. Kelly is a gifted educator, respected colleague, and a cherished friend to those who work alongside her. Those remarks are from Miss Eli, the principal of Sealston. As we move on to King George Middle School, Miss Laura North. Dr. Nice shared the following remarks about Mrs. North. Mrs. North teaches 8th grade world history. Laura comes to work each day with a single purpose, which is to teach her students to the best of her ability and to make an impact on their lives. Her ability to connect with students and inspire them to achieve their best is unparalleled. Those who see Ms. North in action in her classroom respect and admire her. Her talent, dedication, and enthusiasm for education make her an invaluable asset to her students, to King George Middle School, and to the broader educational community. Last but not least, we have King George High School, and I'm going to ask Mr. Watson, if you wouldn't mind coming up. Lisa Tate, I hate having my back to all of you all, but I get yelled at if I don't talk into the microphone. Miss Tate could not be with us this evening. She had a family emergency which called or necessitated her being out of town. So if Dr. or Mr. Watson would accept on her behalf, Miss Lisa Tate currently serves as the Certified Nursing Assistant Teacher. Her unwavering dedication to her students and her outstanding contributions to both the classroom and the community exemplify the qualities of an exceptional educator. Her passion for education, nursing, and service has profoundly impacted the lives of her students and the community alike. Lisa's ability to balance rigorous instruction with compassionate guidance sets her apart as an educator. Her work will continue to inspire her students and enrich our community for years to come. To the 6 of you, your work has not gone unnoticed, and we're grateful for everything that you do. We applaud your tireless efforts to inspire, motivate, and educate the of you in the back, but we decided they were, as Dr. Boyd went to pick up the first one, they're a little heavy, so we're like, they can't manage all of that at one time. Just a note about the gift, what's in the box. As teachers, you deal with bulletin boards, you deal with whiteboards, you deal with smart boards that sometimes may not work, and occasionally you deal with school boards. So there's a different sort of board in that box that we hope you will enjoy in the next few weeks and in the years to come. And we really do appreciate all that you do. So after we chose these 6 individuals as the building level teachers of the year, the division committee got together to select our division teacher of the year. And from hearing all the comments about these teachers, you can see that the committee had, it was a tough task to pick the best of the best. But at this time, without any further delay, I would like to announce that the teacher that will move forward to represent King George County in the Region 3 Teacher of the Year contest will be Miss Laura Leonard from Potomac, Alabama. And Laura, congratulations and best wishes to you as you move forward. I have a nice homework assignment I need to give you before you leave tonight, but you might wish you weren't chosen as the Teacher of the Year. But I do want to say also, Miss Gordon, where's Miss Schultz? Oh, in the bag. I will give that to her later. I can give it to her later. But also as Teacher of the Year, you will receive a $300 voucher to purchase classroom supplies from Amazon. So again, congratulations. Amanda, do you want a picture? Okay. Yeah.
All right, congratulations, guys. All right, thank you. Very well done. I know it is quite an honor to be chosen as Teacher of the Year. Very well done. Thank you again. Now we have the King George Education Foundation, the Innovation Grant.
Good evening. My name is Heather Jennings, and I'm the president of the King George Education Foundation. With me, I have the entire board this evening, including our treasurer and director of Foxmart, Ms. Chris Buck, secretary and director of the Innovation Grant Program, Katie Poole, Dave Zook, our director of STEM. I want to start by thanking the school board for allowing the foundation to present our Innovation Grant Awards this evening. For those who may not know, the Innovation Grants are an annual award the foundation offers to enhance the quality of education in our public schools through innovation and creativity. We seek proposals that present promising ideas for achieving the district's curricular goals, enhancing students' personal development, and/or encouraging links with the community. We appreciate everyone who submitted applications, but after careful consideration, we have selected 5 submissions as our 2024 winners. In order to expedite the grants being used, we have already submitted those to the teachers that won them. Not all of the awardees could be here this evening, but for those who are in attendance, if you could please join us up front as I call your name. Our first grant recipient is Amy West from Sealson Elementary. Her project is a sense of belonging. With the grant money received, Ms. West will purchase handheld manipulatives to help her students self-soothe and acknowledge their sensory needs. When these needs are met, adverse behaviors decrease, and students are often able to spend more time with their peers in the general education setting. These items will also help facilitate play experiences, which will help create feelings of respect, kindness, and inclusiveness. The grant awarded was $496. Our next winner is Yvonne Richard. I don't believe Yvonne is with us this evening, but she proposed using grant money for Building Brilliance project for the King George Elementary School STEM students. The project will utilize the Lego Spike Essential Kit and the Lego Education Brick Cube Motion Prime Set. These tools will enable students in hands-on learning, fostering critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration. The Spike Essential Kit introduces students to coding and robotics, while the Brick Cube Motion Prime focuses on physical sciences. And the grant awarded was $470. Our next winner is a team effort submitted by Tammy Brinkman, Amanda Novak, Dean Shaw, and Krista Ackerman. And the project is Illuminating Learning, a hands-on approach to literacy and numeracy. This project's goal is to use the Lightbox and manipulatives to engage students in an interactive learning experience catering to various learning styles across the kindergarten classes at Potomac Elementary. A primary goal for these tools is to explore letters and numbers creatively while also supporting fine motor skill development and foundational math concepts with the overarching goal to foster collaboration, communication, and a love of learning. The grant awarded was $500. Our next innovation grant awardee is Kim Miller at King George High School. The aim for this project, Active Minds, is to enhance the entire King George High School climate by promoting mental well-being and self-acceptance. This goal will be accomplished by creating a Take What You Need affirmation board where students can take affirmations that resonate with them. The second piece to this initiative is a monthly morning gathering in the cafeteria where students will gather in a welcoming space where they can socialize, connect, and ease morning tensions, all geared to cultivate a culture of support and understanding. The grant awarded was $492. And last but not least, from Sarah Rodriguez and Amanda Hurst at King George Elementary School, we have the King George Elementary School Communication Device Applications Project. King George Elementary School is home to 2 self-contained classrooms for students who have difficulty effectively communicating their wants and needs, as well as struggle with social skills. These students range in grades from kindergarten through 5th grade. The 2 communications applications will allow the students the ability to communicate functionally with their wants and needs while also allowing our self-contained classrooms and staff to include more variety in communication for all students. And the grant awarded was $450. This concludes our presentation. We again thank the school board and thank all the teachers who participated in the Innovation Grant Challenge. A special congratulations to the winners. We thank you for everything you do for King George County School students, and we look forward to hearing about your projects at the end of the year. The total for all the grants was slightly over $2,400 this year.
You, King George Education Foundation, thank you so much for all your work and efforts in supporting the schools through these grants. Yeah, love a picture. Another one. Love standing. Congratulations. Well done. All right, next we have the high school sports, fall and individual and team sports. Coaches, the first one, the district, the coaches here. Go ahead, Dr. Boyd.
We have two individual recognitions first. If Timothy Weinhardt could come up to the podium, and Zach Koch, is that right? I'm going to say it wrong, aren't I? And this is, I'm sorry, thank you. And Timothy Weingart is the District B cross country district champion, and then we've also have Zach Coate, who's the district golf champion. So right up here, guys,
Yeah,
to the podium. You can go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, what's give us a highlight of the year for you.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the golfer, right?
No, I'm the cross country.
You're the cross country. All right. What was your best time?
16:35.
Oh, good. Well done. Well done. So what was the hardest competition? The toughest competition you faced? What was it?
Probably at state against Atlee and Loudoun County.
Thank you. And the golfer. So what's your handicap?
3.
Wow. Well done. Give him a hand. Okay, what was your toughest competition?
Landon Purdue.
Landon Purdue. Okay, good. All right, well done. Let's give him another hand. Very well done. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Picture.
You want a picture again?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Lots of
Picture? All right, I'm getting the picture piece on Amanda. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations, guys. Well done. All right, Dr. Boyd, what's next?
Next up on my list, I have our King George High School cheer squad. If they could come forward, they are district champions.
All right.
Miss Weston is our coach. Would you like to say anything about the team?
We got told to prepare remarks, and they know that I like to talk. Thank you for taking the time to recognize the accomplishments of all of our district champions this evening. The cheer program is strong because we have dedicated student athletes, amazing parents. I'm personally blessed to have some of the best assistant coaches around because we all love our kids. They're our non-biological children, so to speak. The past fall season, I'm also going to talk a little bit about, and this is about varsity, but we're also going to talk a little bit about our JV program because the entire program's worked so hard. I feel like they both need to be recognized. Both teams, or the blue team and gold team as we call them, had very successful seasons. They won a ton of invitational competitions. We don't have time to talk about all of those. The biggest highlight to the season, both teams competed in the UCA regional competition for Virginia. Both teams, JV swept their divisions, winning both traditional VHSL and game day division in small JV. Varsity won their VHSL division and was placed second in the game day division. Both teams have received bids to the National High School Cheerleading Championships in Orlando in February. So both teams are going to be taking a trip to nationals, and we're looking forward to a great experience for them there. Getting back to varsity's Battlefield title. For those that are not kind of aware of how cheer scoring works, generally competitions are decided by 8 points, 2 points, 1/10 of a point. These girls dominated the battlefield. 40 points between first and second, over 100 points between first and last.
Wow.
More important than that, they handled that win with such grace and humility. And I hope you guys are as proud to have them represent the school and the county as their coaches are and their parents are to have them as part of the program.
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much, Peggy. Yes, another picture. Yes, of course. There wasn't any.
No, they don't do spear fingers. They don't do spear fingers. Oh, now.
All right, we get okay. Is that better? All right. Good job.
Good job, gals.
All right, football.
We have our varsity football team and Coach Vern Lunsford here this evening to speak on behalf of the team's accomplishments.
Weird facing this way. All right, just a couple things about these guys. Obviously, we've had a lot of success, and it's due to the great players that we have, great parents that we have. Community's been great behind us for the last several years. These guys were part of your 5th district championship in a row. I think that's a big round of applause for these guys right here. This team hasn't lost the district game in 5 years, so that's something that is pretty special that you don't see every day. We're very proud of these guys and what they accomplished on and off the field. Not only are they great on the field, but off the field as well. We have several guys that are going on the next level to play at college. We have several guys that are going to the military. Over the last 7 years, I think we've sent 17 young men to go play in college. 10 of them have been FCS, FBS level players, and we've sent 6 people to the military from our football program. So we're very proud of their accomplishments on and off the field. I can't say enough about this group and the groups that come before them. And we're so proud of what they do and what everybody does to support us here in the county. And just want to thank everybody again. We couldn't do it without you, but most of all, these guys deserve all the credit. So big round of applause for these guys. Yep. Thank you. Appreciate
Picture.
it. Yep. Picture.
All right, thank you. Well done. All the successes in athletics is quite impressive. All right, and next, young ladies.
Yes, finally, we have our girls cross-country team, who are also district champions. If they could come forward, please. Oh, we lost our mic.
Okay.
There you go.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. Coach K wasn't able to be here. He is on a work trip, but I'm the assistant coach. And on behalf of the cross-country team, we would like to thank the members of the school board as well as King George High School for their continued support for our program. Your efforts enable these students to do what they do on the athletic field, so thank you very much. First, we'd like to recognize Timmy Wingert, if he's still here, sophomore, for his achievement as an individual boys cross-country district chin achieve over the next 2 years of his high school career. The girls' team victory this year completed the back-to-back championship that we had hoped for. Throughout the season, we saw just how competitive the district was going to be and that achieving this back-to-back championship would be a daunting task. Coming into the meet, we knew that we were 2-point underdogs, yet these girls rose up to the challenge and put everything on the line and ran a true team race, giving of themselves all that they had to offer. In the end, they achieved a narrow 2-point victory. Congratulations to Callie Rash, Ruth Louise Page, Georgia Russell, Kylie Peters, Emily White, Addison Wright, and Mackenzie Kelly. We are excited that 6 of these 7 girls are scheduled to return next year and go for the three-peat. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, now we have the President's Award for Educational Excellence.
Good evening. I'm Robin Mitchell, the Director of School Counseling at King George High School. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize 13 excellent students this evening. We're recognizing students who have earned the President's Award for Educational Excellence. This award recognizes academic success in the classroom. To be eligible, KGHS students must meet requirements including grade point average and test score requirements. They earn a grade point average of 3.5 or higher on a 4.0 scale. They also have high achievement on their state test. These students this evening have earned pass advanced scores in all 4 subject areas on their SOLs. Also, I'd like to thank the King George Educational Foundation for providing the certificates this evening for these students. So if you'll come forward when I call for you. Is Marcus Adams here? Marcus? David Foster.
Marcus.
Hunter Fuchs. Hold on to this mark. There we go. Yes, stay up here. Lucas Gegashid. Jacqueline Murillo. Anna Oplinger. Kylie Peters. Emma Tiley. Shelby Yee. Atlee Zimmerman. And Ayla Zook. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to recognize these students.
We need another picture.
Picture.
Why not? Well done. Well done. Thank you.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Now we have public comment. If you have not signed up for public comment, you can do so while I'm giving this brief description of how this works. You can come up here. You can come to our county clerk, our school board clerk if you want to, and give your name if you still want to make a comment. Public comment is a time for the community to present matters that they believe deserve the board's attention. Comments are one-way communication from the community member to the school board and are not a forum for dialogue or debate. The school board applies the following procedures to all speakers and does not discriminate based on the identity of the speaker or the viewpoint of the speaker. Comments should be presented in a courteous, respectful, and appropriate manner. The public shall address the school board only on matters that are related to the services and policies of the school division. Speeches that cause disruption to the meeting, promote private business ventures, involve threats of any kind, involve intimidating language, relate to public office campaigns, involve complaints identifying individual students, or personal attacks of staff members is prohibited. Proper decorum and the provisions of this procedural directive are expected to be followed by all public meetings of the school board. The members of the audience shall conduct themselves in the same manner as outlined above for the individual speakers and shall not disrupt an open public meeting of the school board nor incite others to do so. At the discretion of the chair, any person violating the rules listed above may be asked to leave the board meetings. When recognized by the chair, speakers will be asked to identify themselves by name, state their relationship to the school division, such as staff member, student, parent, community member, etc., and indicate in which magisterial district they reside. Commentary during public comment is limited to 3 minutes. And our first speaker is Elizabeth Miklik. I blew it. Michelik? All right, second time's a charm.
Do I have to wait till the timer?
Do we have a clock, John? Okay.
All right.
All right. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Mitchell. I'm a staff member and a parent of this county, and I live in the Dahlgren District. I'm here tonight to address the concern of the new trees planted at the high school. I love working in your school buildings. I love the education my two boys are getting. I love the sports that they have been able to be involved with. Recently, though, Friends of the Rappahannock partnered with King George County High School and planted trees. One of the locations is in the marching band practice field hill. I love marching band. My oldest has been involved for the last 4 years, and my youngest started this year as an 8th grader. I have been involved as the color guard coach for the last 3 years. My family, as you see, loves every aspect of marching band, even if it involves giving up our summer early to start band camp and ending when it's freezing outside in November, and last year we even went into December. I have no problem with Friends of the Rappahannock, as they are another one of my family's favorite organizations. My children have gotten lucky and went to their summer camp for a few years, and during the COVID times, each Wednesday, my husband would come home exhausted from working nights and take them to their hands-on learning days when we were virtual learning so they could still experience some normalcy in their lives while I went into the empty school building to work. But if you did not know, the trees are planted where it is very hard to see the students as we watch practice. They are right in front of the tower, and as they grow, the tower will be completely blocked. I stand on the hill lots to watch the color guard and the other band members to make sure they are doing their parts correctly and marching to the right spots. The last few rehearsals, it was almost impossible to be able to see the band members at the 50 mark, which is dead center for us. As these trees really start growing, we will not be able to see the students at all. I'm just asking that if possible, would you please move these trees before the roots really start to grow into the ground? Even if they were moved to the left 100 feet on the hill, they would be out of the way. The area they were planted is our center, and we will not be able to see anyone soon. We already have to deal with cars driving through our practices when there are 90-plus students marching and slowly not freaking out. If you have not seen the trees, I advise you to drive by tonight to the King George High School bus loop and look at where the trees are planted. Thank you for listening to me tonight.
Thank you. Next, we have Chris Clark.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Chris Clark. I reside in the Madison District. Have 3 students currently in school and 1 proud class of 2023 graduate. But tonight I do appear before you in my formal role as Director of Parks and Recreation. I know my friends from the Sealstone Elementary Chorus were here earlier tonight. I missed them. I was still at the basketball game. But Parks and Rec, we partner a lot with the schools. We do. Many of those student athletes that were on stage with you have been part of our programs. But each year for the King George County Christmas tree lighting, we partner with your music students and in the fine arts. We had the Sealstone Elementary Chorus last night. I think it's the 4th year in a row they've been with us. We had the King George High School Choir, and we had the King George High School Brass Ensemble, who I think has been playing since we started the tree lighting many, many years ago. And I just wanted to recognize those folks tonight since I was here in the building, and just thank you for your continued support of the arts, especially in King George County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. All right, Superintendent, response to the comments?
Thank you for those that spoke tonight. We can certainly take a look at the tree issue in greater depth. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention, to the board's attention. And Mr. Clark, thank you so much for coming this evening and recognizing the students that have helped participate in the tree lighting ceremony. Really means a lot to us, and we certainly appreciate it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, school board members, do I have any changes to the agenda? Mr. Frank? No? No. All right, we will go on. We have presentations, instructional highlight, secret stories, and a better alphabet sound. Potomac Elementary.
I can't see them. Hi, I am Deanne Shaw. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers at Potomac Elementary School. I have some of my kindergarten students and Mrs. Cook, my helper, in my class. We are going to show you guys what we do every day. It's called the Better Alphabet Song, where we learn the letters of the alphabet and the sounds that they make. Then we progress and we learn blends of letters, and we associate them with sounds also. If you teach the students how to read the words, They don't memorize the words. So we're teaching them how to decode each of these words.
Uh-oh.
What?
Very good. Well done. Very well done. Thank you very much. That was very well done. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, next we have the Health Safety Advisory Committee Annual Report.
You have this in board docs too if you don't want to turn around.
All right. Did you hear that, board members? It's in board docs.
That's a really tough act to follow. Goodness. So thank you, board members, for having us here this evening to provide our annual update on the Health and Safety Advisory Committee. You do have a packet of handouts in front of you in board docs. A lot of that information is some background information for our new members that I won't necessarily be going into detail about. The focus tonight will be on those things that I've highlighted in red, and those are the current activities that we're working on. But I do want to provide you with a little bit of background. So the Health and Safety Advisory Committee is a committee of school and community stakeholders that are tasked with assessing the health and safety related needs and recommending resources to address those needs for the school division. And that includes policy proposals, protocols and procedures, personnel and hiring needs, as well as division-wide initiatives and programming, such as professional development and student education. As you can imagine, health and safety are very robust topics, and this larger umbrella committee does help shape smaller subcommittees that we have, such as the Division Threat Assessment Team, Division Wellness Committee, the Title IV Grant Work Group, and Student Athlete Handbook Subcommittee, just to name a few. I do also want to mention that in years past, this report that I'm giving right now also included topics related to the school safety audit as well as discipline. However, we've teased that out a little bit, and that will be presented in January through the comprehensive plan update in a little bit more detail. So as the supervisor of student and family services, oh, I'm sorry, can you, I don't even know what slide we're on. Maybe the third, try the third one. Thank you. So as supervisor of student and family services, I supervise the school counselors and the school social workers, which help support our students' mental health needs. School counselors have standards of learning developed by VDOE, just as our content area teachers do, and they support all of our students in building skills needed to be successful in school, college, career, and life in general. Virginia Code does require a school counselor to student ratio of no more than 1 to 325. We have 14 school counseling positions currently. Last year, 4 of those positions were filled by unlicensed staff members. This year, I know HR and our principals have worked very hard to fill those positions, and all but 1 are filled now with licensed staff, which brings our ratio to 1 to 325, including that staff member. Next slide. Our school social workers work with students and families that have more intensive needs or barriers to school success, such as mental health needs, suicide risk and threat assessments, as well as families that may be experiencing homelessness, students in foster care, as well as students with IEPs that require counseling services. We have 5 school social workers, 1 assigned to each school, and overall that's a ratio of approximately 1 to 900. However, I have in that chart the estimated student population, so those ratios do vary from school to school. There is no specific Virginia Code specific to social workers. They are rather grouped into a SOQ of 3 to 1,000 for the bulk of the mental health and wellness programs in the division, which are informed through the Health and Safety Advisory Committee. Project Kind, as most of you are aware of, began last year out of a grant that included social emotional learning, character education, and bullying prevention. We have been able to continue that this year, and just a couple of weeks ago, we actually sent 10 staff members, 2 from each school who are called ambassadors for character education, to a professional development opportunity to expand their training and expertise in character education and bullying prevention programming. And they will bring that back to the schools and provide that professional development to their staff. as well. Go to the next slide. And this slide just includes a few of the events that we've had thus far this year related to mental health and wellness prevention and awareness initiatives such as substance abuse awareness under Red Ribbon Week, bullying prevention, World Day of Bullying Prevention in October, and so on. Go to the next slide. Threat assessment is also a code requirement that is informed out of the Health and Safety Advisory Committee. Every division is required to, every school is required to have a threat assessment team in their school, and then the division may also have a division threat assessment team. We do have a division-wide threat assessment team, which is a subcommittee of the Health and Safety Advisory Committee. They are responsible for ensuring consistent processes, procedures, protocols are adhered to across the division. And right now, we actually have 2 staff members at national training to become, it's called Train the Trainer, where they become experts in threat assessment in order to bring it back to the division and train the threat assessment team further on that. And they are there right now, and that is also currently funded through a grant program. Go to the next slide. So in addition to mental health and school counselors and social workers, I also help supervise the school nurses. Sarah Linker, she is our lead school nurse and essentially our resident expert in the medical side for our students. She helps coordinate all of the clinic activities for our school nurses, including establishing protocols and procedures, standardizing practices across the schools, collaborating with surrounding divisions, and representing King George County schools on various regional and state committees. I'm going to pass it on to Sarah now, and you can go to the next slide, I apologize. She's going to talk a little bit more in detail about our nurses and what they do on a daily basis.
Good evening. As Mary said, my name is Sarah Linker, and I have the privilege of leading our amazing team of healthcare providers in our schools who are providing excellent care to all of our students and our staff on a daily basis. I'm going to briefly tell you about our team and then go over our operational data for last school year and this school year, and then end by going over a few projects that we're currently working on. To go to the next slide, please. So our team is made up of 6 RN positions. We have 5 nurses in each school and myself as the lead. Of those 6 nurses, 5 of us have our bachelor's degree in nursing, and we also have 1 nurse who has a national nursing certification. Complementing our nurses in the school are clinic assistants. We currently have 2 clinic assistants. Previously, those positions were grant funded, but after COVID, the grant funding ended, and you all graciously took them under our King George budget so that we are able to still have those to provide excellent care to our students and staff. For the 24-25 school year, for the first 4 months, we had 69 days we were in school. That's through the end of November, and in those 69 days, our nurses saw 22,243 students in our 5 school clinics. Of those, almost 16,000 were for injury and illnesses of students. We had just over 5,000 medications which were administered in the first 4 months of school, and just over 1,100 students who were treated related to their type 1 diabetes. During that same 4-month time period, our school nurses also completed over 3,100 vision and hearing screenings for our students to make sure if they had a deficit, we were able to identify that and refer them to follow up with their healthcare provider so that they're able to access their education and their vision or hearing isn't impeding that access to their education. The chart on the right side, you will see are specific health conditions that our nurses are managing in the building every day. So we have 558 students who have high acuity conditions that the nurses are managing daily and sometimes hourly based on pre-existing conditions that students in our buildings have. And that's why it's so critical and important to have those assistants there in order to be able to help supplement the role of the nurse and make sure that we truly can provide the best medical care possible for students while they're in school. You could go to the next slide, please. So This is our data for last school year. So for 2023-2024, we had a total of 47,162 clinic visits across our 5 school buildings, and then did roughly 1,400 vision screenings and 1,400 hearing screenings as well. Of those 47,000 clinic visits, approximately 61% of those were for illnesses or injuries, 31% were medication administrations, and then roughly 8% of those were treating our students who have diabetes. Next slide, please. Highlighting the increase in the number of clinic visits we've had from last school year to this school year. So it is comparing August through November of 2023 and August through November of 2024. So in 2023, for the first 4 months of school, we had 18,605 clinic visits. And this school year, for the first 4 months, we've had 22,243 clinic visits. And the graph on the right is just showing that month over month, we've had a steady increase in the number of students who are requiring healthcare services while they're at school. For last school year, we were averaging for those first 4 months of school 257 visits a day across the 5 schools in the division. And this year thus far, for the first 4 months, we've been averaging 322 visits across the schools each day. Next slide, please. And onto some projects that we are currently working on. We are doing an audit of our AEDs and stop bleed kits and how they are located around each school building to see if they are located in an area that would be easily and quickly accessible if we had an emergency, and if we have enough of them strategically placed around the buildings in order to provide appropriate coverage in the case of an emergency. We also have a project that I'm very excited about we're working on called Project Adam, which is a national designation for schools or communities to become a heart-safe school. So they have a checklist of 14 items that as an individual school you work through, and once you are able to complete those 14 items, some of the items include AED locations, being able to retrieve an AED within 3 minutes of needing one, proper signage to have people be able to locate the AEDs, proper training for staff, etc. Once you're able to complete those 14 items on the checklist, then you will receive a designation as a Project Adam Heart Safe School, which means you are best prepared to respond if you have a student, staff, or visitor who goes into cardiac arrest while they're in your school, so that you could give them the best chance of survival if that were to happen. And then, oh, sorry, can we go? I'm quite done with that slide. If we can go back. So back one more. Sorry. Back on the health and wellness emergency response slide. So we're also working with our local EMS department to do some training on our emergency evacuation chair we have in the 3 buildings that have a second level, to make sure we have key staff members who are properly trained to use that evacuation chair in the event of an emergency for a person who has limited mobility, so that we could safely be able to get them out of the building. And then we are also working on naloxone training and developing a more robust plan in order to have more students and staff members trained for that, and partnering with the Rappahannock Area Community Service Board, who has already been in our schools helping train our students and staff, so that we can come up with a plan to work together in order to have our students and staff well trained to respond if there was an opioid overdose in one of our buildings. I will turn it back over to Ms. Fisher.
In addition, it's actually not on your slide because this just happened in the last couple of days. We have applied for a grant regarding opiate education for our students that will provide lesson plans for at the high school level for students in 9th and 10th grade PE classes in order to learn about the dangers of substance abuse. So we submitted that grant and should hopefully hear from them soon. Go to the next slide. In addition to the broad topics we've just talked about, this Health and Safety Advisory Committee also has a subcommittee for the Division Wellness, which is led by Anita Davis, and that just ensures compliance with our all of our nutrition standards. We also have an athletics subcommittee that talks about the health requirements for student athletes. You can go to the next slide. Under Virginia Code, there are concussion and cardiac arrest training requirements and protocols that have to be followed by student athletes and coaches, as well as heat and weather related procedures as well. We are this year under Health and Safety Advisory, we are working on the biennial updates to the concussion and cardiac arrest guidelines as required by Virginia Code, as well as discussing consideration of implementing the use of peri-weather stations at the high school and middle school campus that helps alert our athletic trainer and athletic director and teams to potential weather-related issues in the area. Go to the next slide. As I had mentioned throughout the presentation, most of the initiatives that we have currently ongoing are grant funded. Many of those grants have ended or will be ending in the next year. The one ongoing grant funding we do have is our Title IV grant, and this is just an overview of the topics that are covered under Title IV, and is really our only outside source of funding for any of these initiatives that we are looking to put in place. And then as you can go to the last slide, as I mentioned, this will be discussed further in January during the comprehensive plan update, as well as the budget proposals. But here on the slide, I just have listed a few of the things that we are looking to continue promoting, expanding under the Health and Safety Advisory Committee, including the character education programs, our alternative to suspension programs that we implemented this year, as well as expanding the professional development and training opportunities for both our staff and our students.
Thank you very much. Any questions any board member has?
Chairman, I have a question. Hi, thank you guys for showing us today. I just have a question about the cases that it looked like you're trending upwards. And whenever I see data like that, I always just like to ask the question, if it's in comparison to like other school districts, what are your thoughts on that? Just would like to know.
So I don't have specific data for other school districts, but I do have a few thoughts on why it might be trending upwards. First, we are seeing kids who taking care of a lot of students who have more chronic health conditions. So that table a few back, the number of students who are asthmatic, who would require EpiPens, who have seizure disorders, just a multitude of chronic health conditions who we're managing in our schools on a daily basis. And a lot of those students with the chronic health conditions do need access and treatment to the clinic on a frequent, sometimes hourly, sometimes daily basis. So that certainly impacts our numbers that we have. And then secondly, as I think we all know, our students are having a lot of mental health, anxiety, depression, other related issues across the country, and that impacts their physical health. When they're depressed, when they're anxious, when they're stressed, they might not be verbalizing that that's the reason, but they're telling their teacher that they have a headache, or they have stomach pain, or they have chest pain, and they're coming to the clinic to get evaluated, and it's up to that nurse to have the time and the resources to be able to truly effectively evaluate them and determine, is this a physical problem or is this a mental health problem, and then get them matched up with the appropriate services in order to try and get them the help that they need.
Yeah, I thought the same thing as Ms. Cleveland. When I saw this 25% increase in the people coming to the wellness clinic, that's quite an increase. As reading research, if it was a couple of years ago, you could say it might be related to COVID and the mental health situations that we keep reading about related to COVID and children and so on. But it seems to me you can't really use that anymore since it's been 3 years, 4 years. So, but your explanation, it's how do you really know? But there is an increase in mental health illnesses, which relates to all the physical things. I realize that. Any other comments anybody had or questions?
I have one question. What is the peri-weather stations?
I'll tell you what I know. This was presented by Brandon Thomas, our athletic trainer. It's my understanding, and I think actually Dr. Boyd has a little bit of experience at other divisions, has seen them in action. My understanding is that it is a weather station equipment that is actually mounted on the campus that has the temperature, the heat index, lightning, other weather things it can detect, and it provides alerts like in real time, not only to apps that you can download on your phone and such, but also provides announcements over the loudspeaker, the PA system, to alert that there is a weather emergency. It's my understanding that those announcements are fully customizable to say, lightning has been detected. You must leave the stadium at this time and remain in your vehicle until further notice and those sorts of things. But it does include beyond lightning, which I think is probably when it is seen in use the most, does also have those heat-related indices as well that the athletic trainer can use to determine the different safety levels for whether practice or games can go on.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sure. Can you speak to continue to promote positive messages about kindness, anti-bullying, character K-12? What does that look like, I guess?
Sure. So Project Kind, again, incorporates, it's such a broad program and incorporates all of those topics, as well as our not only standalone topics under character education, but our comprehensive school counseling program, the work that our school social workers do as well, and lots of initiatives throughout the division, such as those included on the next page, that just promote those messages of kindness across the division. There's classroom guidance lessons, there's school-wide activities. Some of the schools have pep rallies. I'm just trying to think. There are so many things that the schools are doing. Potomac, for example, has a spirit squad, and I think every Friday they do a spirit pep rally where they recognize different students that are, displaying perhaps the trait of the week or the theme of that week. There are after-school programs that our school counselors and teachers are doing to promote connectedness to the schools, which, connectedness and building those relationships helps contribute to that feeling of belongingness and engagement that also helps, build character and prevent some of those bullying incidences. There's a WINGS program at Potomac. The middle school is doing, they have two separate groups, one for boys and one for girls, where they're just learning different aspects of being a good person and a student and fellow, human to their classmates.
Can I ask, because one of the things I would like to see promoted is, because a lot of times bullying is not reported, right? The child doesn't report the bullying incident. And what I do know is a lot of students might not know about the bullying form in the office, but how many of those are normally filled out a year?
So that is a great question. And I believe it was the last school board meeting when it was the bullying forms were brought to me for some revision, which we were able to do. I believe that those forms were actually not included in the current website through my fault or when the rollover happened several years ago. So we've actually pushed those back out to the buildings because I don't think they were being discussed or implemented in that form. We've also talked about creating it, because right now it's paper, into a Google form, electronic, that can be filled out electronically. So we're actually working on that right now. So I don't have that answer, but I would suspect very few in that form. But again, there are certainly reports of bullying directly to our counselors and administrators and teachers that don't utilize that necessarily.
I gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your hard work, and it is a lot. You're responsible for a lot of things. Thank you. All right. Now we'll hear from the student representatives, and we'll start with the high school.
Good evening. Now? Yep. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Savannah Nelson, the student representative alongside Chad Brown for the high school. So, of course, the semester's coming to a close. Everyone's getting really excited for that winter break that we have coming up. However, there is a strong push for students to get in those final grades. SOLs are currently ongoing as well as finals. So good luck to all the students that have those upcoming over this week and next week. NHS, National Honor Society, as of right now, they are working on their candy drive. This drive is used to build boxes that will go to the hospitals. These boxes get passed out to children, and they are full of games or toys, anything to make that child that's in the hospital a little bit happier during that holiday season. Students are also getting full swing into winter sports. So our winter sports have started earlier in this fall. The seasons are starting to go great. Our swim team just had a meet on Friday, which they did a really great job at. And track has started, winter cheer, all of those sports. The students are getting excited for that. We also have spring sports that are starting their conditioning, such as our soccer teams, and I believe baseball and softball is starting as well. So that's super exciting. Last Friday, our drama department had an improv show. This was a great opportunity for our community as well as the rest of our student body to come out and support our theater program and see some good improv. I wasn't able to go, but I heard that there were some really unique shows that were on. So great job to them. And that money that they are fundraising is going to their New York trip, which I believe is in the spring or end of winter time. And yeah, everyone's just excited for winter break. Next semester, however, I do believe that the school needs to work on boosting morale among the students and among admin, which will also help out with attendance rates. But that's all I have this evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Middle school.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Silber. I'm the sole representative for the middle school on this board. So the two biggest things, first of all, growth assessments for the middle school start tomorrow, I believe. I know I have my English assessment on Tuesday and then my math one on Thursday. And as we're approaching the end of the semester, a lot of students are feeling quite burnt out as, you know, semester-long classes come to an end and there's just a large, huge amount of tests that are going on in these last 2 weeks. And I know a lot of the students could benefit just from, as Samantha mentioned, some morale boosting. I know we had several pep rallies last year, and I know a lot of students responded really positively to that. And then other just events that go on around the school, just to help boost student morale in these, you know, tough times for certain students. Additionally, I'd just like to recognize the middle school band and choir who had their concerts last week. Those were amazing. I myself am a member of the King George Middle School Select Choir. And the performance of both our choir and the general choir were amazing. We had the most sort of performance-y aspects that we've had so far. There were dances involved. We got some staff members to come up and play some parts. And that was just really cool. I personally believe it was probably our strongest concert over the 3 years that I've been a part of that choir. And lastly, I do have a second survey that was released last week. And they are mostly new questions. I kept the phone policy just because I kind of want to track how it goes throughout the school year. As expected, you know, a large amount of students still are not a huge fan. But overall, the feeling of almost hostility towards the admin who were in charge of enforcing this policy, I feel like it's gone down. They aren't, you know, there's not just as much tension as there was the first quarter.
You're talking about the cell phone policy, right?
Yes, the cell phone policy. The other big one was the IE schedule that we have at the middle school. I know a lot of students, so like right now, what we do is on a weekly basis, we switch between different learning programs. We'll do Zern for a week, then we'll do IXL, and then we'll do Lexia, and then we'll usually have a week of passion projects for students just to give them a break from, the questions and, math and English and stuff that they end up doing most of the day anyway. But the biggest thing I've heard is that a lot of students believe that they could benefit more from 30 minutes of study hall because a lot of students, especially right now, are feeling a bit overwhelmed with their school workload. And they believe that, I've noticed, at least not only in my class, but based off of some of the written responses that I have here, is a lot of students don't even participate in IE. They don't complete the programs because there's no real way to, track or enforce actually getting them done. But a lot of students feel like if we move to a study hall system, that students would just be able to see upfront the benefits a lot more than they're looking at right now. Finally, the lunch pod system that we're using to attempt to keep control of the students during lunch, because I know this year and last year in particular, we had a big problem with students getting up and walking around during lunch and visiting their friends, and being extremely loud even when admin were attempting to present, important information. And the way we're trying to curb that is assigning lunch pods where all the teachers and all the students under them in one sort of like group based on the subject that they're learning in their lunch period. And basically they'll sit together and you can sit, and the hopes is since you can sit with anyone in any of the usually 3 or 4 classrooms instead of being confined to your own personal classroom, is that any students that feel like they don't have any friends in their class, and now they can't turn to their phones for their friends, this will just help them, both branch out, and hopefully the hope is there will be at least somebody in their pod that they will find, at least acceptable to sit with during lunch. But the biggest problem with this new pod system is the way we dismiss kids to go get their lunch if they're buying lunch. It takes a long time. And the way the system is working right now, our lunch is only 25, 30 minutes long, and some students take 20 minutes from the time they get in order to get back with their lunch, and that gives them very, very little time to eat. And so I have been attempting to work with Dr. Nice to figure out how to make the system more efficient, but that is a work in progress. But overall, the tension seems to be down, and really the biggest problem they have right now is those end of the semester tests. But I'm confident in the middle school students' abilities to work their way through that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Eric. Appreciate it. Okay, do I have a motion to go into closed session?
I make a motion pursuant to State Code Section 2.2-3712A of Code of Virginia. I move that the board convene into closed meeting to review hires, substitutes, resignations, and employee performances as permitted under 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia, and to consult with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation where such consultation or briefing in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating and litigation posture of the public body as permitted under 2.2-3711A7.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Now in closed session. All right, do we have a motion to return to open session?
I move that the King George County School Board return to open session and certify that pursuant to State Code Section 2.2-3712D, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under this chapter, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the public body.
Second.
And
Certify.
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 I also certified. All those in favor say aye.
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 We're now in open session. All right, action resulting from the closed meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the personnel as presented?
I make a motion that we approve the personnel as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. All right, now we can move on to
Minute.
the minutes of the, I think there's 2 or 3 sets of minutes. What's that? Is there 3? Sorry, I gotta find the place. Right, there is 3. All right, does everybody have a chance to look through these minutes, at least glance through them? I know they're quite long since we basically do a verbatim from the recording. But has everybody had a chance to look through them? We could take this as one motion, or we can do them individually if there's problems with any of them. Anybody have a problem with any of these minutes?
I'll just abstain from the 2 disciplinary hearings because I wasn't there.
I'm sorry, say again, update from the 2 disciplinary?
Well, I would have to abstain from the 2 disciplinary
no, you
hearings because I
would.
wasn't there.
Yeah, I agree with that. In fact, in fact, there was only 3 of us at the disciplinary hearings, and so, obviously just the 3 of us should vote for those 2. You're absolutely correct. So let's separate those 2 then. That's a good point. Thank you, Ms. Cleveland. So let's talk about the regular meeting on the 18th, which, you were here for that one though, weren't you, Ms. Cleveland? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the meeting on the 18th. Any discrepancies? If not, can I have a motion? Approve the minutes on the
I'll make a
18th.
motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on November 18th.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. All right, the 2 disciplinary hearings, we put those together. They were the same day, one after another. If it's all right with the 3 of us, which would be basically the 3 of us that were there, which would be Mr. Frank, Ms. Hoover, and myself. So, and the 3 of us, if there's no issues, do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes from the disciplinary hearings on December 2nd.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye,
Aye.
motion carries. All right, let's move on. School security equipment grant.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. You have an attachment in your packet. The Virginia Department of Education has awarded King George County Public Schools a total of $20,800 for the 24-25 School Security Equipment Grant Program. This is an annual grant program. We do this every year at this time. These funds are approved for the purchase and installation of the school security equipment requested on the applications for the approved schools shown below: King George Middle School, Potomac Elementary School, and Sealston Elementary School. If there's any question, I can go into greater detail about what those projects are. A requirement of 25% match is required for this grant, and we do budget for that amount annually to cover the annual security grant. It is my recommendation to approve a motion to accept $20,800 from the school equipment, from the security equipment grant. The school division will provide the required 25% local match of funds where required in order to support the installation of additional security equipment at King George Middle School, Potomac Elementary School, and Sealston Elementary School.
Are there any questions about this grant? Pretty standard one. If not, do I have a motion? And that's just reading the superintendent's recommendation.
Is this grant going to go towards? Oh, we don't know. What is it going to go towards?
What is it for specifically?
I mean, I see what it's for, but have y'all allocated it yet?
Well, that's what we're doing tonight. So for us to accept it, we're gonna apply it to those funds. And then are you asking, what are we allocating it towards? Like what specific projects at those schools?
Yeah.
So at King George Middle School, it's $3,000 for an uninterrupted power supply, UPS. It's $3,000 for an uninterrupted power supply at Sealston Elementary School. This is a unit so that if we lose power, it keeps vital systems up and running. And then it's $14,800 for perimeter fencing at Potomac, to revive the perimeter fencing at Potomac Elementary School. And that's what was approved through the school security grant, those projects.
Any other questions?
Well, where's the match going to come from?
We budget that annually.
Oh, we did. Oh, because you said it's annual, yeah. This isn't a new thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, this is an annual grant.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve to accept $20,800 from the security equipment grant.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next one is the school improvement grant. Is that what-
Yes, and while Dr. Wright comes up to provide some greater detail, I'll just give you the background. The Office of School Quality has approved the school improvement grant application for King George County Schools, specifically King George Middle School for the 24-25 school year, in the amount of $50,000. Funding will be used to support materials, professional development, curriculum work, and contracted services. My recommendation is to approve the funds, and Dr. Wright can answer specific questions about what those funds will be applied for.
And if there are no questions, I'll go back and sit down.
So more specifically, I know he has this information as well, but this will specifically be used to address some curriculum work that we'll be doing at the middle school math, in the middle school math department. We're going to hire a consultant to review that program. We've got some professional development activities planned for those teachers, and we've also have some supporting materials that will need to be purchased to support that contractor.
Any further questions?
Chairman, I have a question. And I'm just curious of, why that allocation was selected for this project.
So the Office of School Quality is focused on King George Middle School. So we were categorized as a targeted school needing improvement by the Office of School Quality through the Virginia Department of Education. So King George Middle School entered school improvement identification for having student groups that did not meet measures of progress in reading and mathematics and federal benchmarks for 2 consecutive years. Specifically, federal ID student groups not meeting benchmarks included students with that are economically disadvantaged, students with disabilities, Black students, and multiracial students. King George applied to receive the funding to support the contracted professional development that Dr. Boyd mentioned, middle school leadership team and teachers. Funding will be used to purchase materials, which we mentioned, and small group instruction also as a pay incentive for those folks staying after school hours for the remediation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. Any further questions? All right, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve
School improvement grant.
the school improvement grant for $50,000.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. All right, next we have the VHSL eligibility. These are discussion items, VHSL eligibility. Dr. Boyd?
Yes, this was requested to be put on the agenda for by a board member. Currently, VHSL eligibility in terms of academic eligibility is that when students enter high school, first off, VHSL oversees athletic eligibility for high school students currently. Their eligibility rule in terms of academics is that all students in the Commonwealth start their 9th grade year, their first semester, with a clean slate. After their first semester of their 9th grade year, in order for them to remain eligible, they have to have passed a certain number of courses the semester before the sports season that they wish to participate in. So, for example, students that choose a sophomore student that chooses to play football at the beginning of his sophomore year would have had to have passed a prescribed number of courses in the second semester of his 9th grade year. Okay, that's the current VHSL eligibility. I think there's been some thought and some discussion about adjusting that in terms of King George. We can't make it, we obviously cannot do anything less than VHSL prescribes, but we could do something that raises that bar in terms of the ability to participate in VHSL activities, but we certainly couldn't do anything less than the VHSL expectation. And I can stop there for any discussion board members may have.
Yeah, I have questions, but other board members first.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about you're talking eligibility for the coming year for athletics. In other words,
Yes, I did ask for that to be on the board, on the agenda. It came up at our disciplinary hearings on Monday of last week. One of the students that was there failed everything last year, and still was promoted to the high school. And with VHSL's requirements, he is eligible to play sports. I called VHSL this week and talked to them, and they said yes, that is their policy, that they have a free semester, I guess you would say, so that they can play sports. I personally do not like that. I think we should have something coming out. Number one, this is only the tip of the iceberg. The big part of the iceberg is that we have no standards for students coming from kindergarten to the 9th grade. He or she can fail every class and still make it to the high school, and which that's another big issue, and where the whole iceberg is. But the tip of the iceberg that we're talking about right now is the eligibility to play sports. If someone comes from the middle school to the high school, I do not think they should be allowed, if they have not passed 3 classes, I do not think they should be allowed to play sports. And that's just my opinion.
you want to actually make that into a policy? Is that what you're saying, Mr. Frank?
Well, yes, I'd like to make it into a policy, but a policy ought to be enforced.
What is it now? Are they?
But
There
it's
isn't.
just what Mr. Frank already said what it is. In other words,
Yeah.
if they fail in middle school, they can still play sports
Well,
in
I mean,
9th
like,
grade.
say they didn't fail middle school and they start high school and they struggle or something. After the first semester, what kind of grades do they have to make in order to stay in sports?
They have to pass, so on the high school level, and again, it's different at different schools because of bell schedules.
Right.
So we're on a 4x4 bell schedule, meaning all of our students take 4 classes each semester. So VHSL eligibility for our students is they would have had to have passed 3 classes the semester before they had desired to participate.
Okay, it just, when I was growing up, it's like you had to make a C average or you were off the team type thing.
If you have to have a C average,
That's how it used to be. And when I was growing up, you had to make like a C average to stay on the team.
I have thought about the C average. I don't really think that's realistic, but I think we can keep the same guidelines and the same rules for the middle school coming up to that, for the 9th graders coming up that we have, once they're in the 9th grade, where they have to, on the block schedule, each block is counted as 2 credits. So there would be 6, so it would be 3 classes that they have to pass.
Dr. Boyd, that's a very good option, and we can talk more about it. But questions, in your, not opinion, but do you think there are many other school divisions in Virginia that have done something like this?
there are others. Yes,
That have
there's
done this
certainly.
middle school, high school, they don't let them if they fail.
Well, I've seen it. I've seen it more. There's a lot of school divisions that, in fact, many of the ones I've been in, they don't allow middle school students to play VHSL sports. So that's a hard comparison. But there's a lot of secondary schools, high schools that have higher expectations than VHSL. C average is one I've heard of. So it's
But I was not
I don't know about a total number, but I know that it is possible. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah. If there's other schools that have made this middle school thing, in other words, not eligible if they don't pass middle school for ninth grade sport.
Yeah, I think Mr. Frank's point about the iceberg and seeing if the board wants to spend some time visiting our retention policy, I think there's a lot of value in that conversation moving forward, and one that might address this tip of the iceberg as well. We have a retention policy currently. It's one that the board could probably visit and take a look at in terms of this conversation.
I think right now we're just dealing with the athletics, so I agree with you, and I think so all of us do, that is something I would like to put on a future agenda item to talk about the retention policy all through kindergarten through 12th grade. I think Mr. Frank has a good point. But in terms of this, Mr. Frank, can we put it as a discussion item? I would suggest, based on this being December, that maybe we put this, because I don't think it would make much difference to anyone right now, obviously. So maybe put this as a discussion item, but actually have a policy written, maybe in the meeting after the governance meeting in January. So the first meeting after the governance meeting, we could put this as a discussion item.
Sounds great.
Can you write it up or write out? We can tweak it, but why don't you write out what you're thinking, and then you give it to Dr. Boyd or something, or one of us, and we can tweak it a little bit.
I think I've got an idea. I don't mind taking what you said and writing it up.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Frank?
That's fine.
Okay. If you don't mind doing that, Dr. Boyd.
And you said the meeting, I didn't hear what you said after the...
What I said was that obviously it's not going to make much difference what's going on right now. We're going to talk about a work session in a second. And the governance meeting, we probably don't want to discuss that.
Oh, in the organizational
So I was saying, the organizational meeting. But I said in the next meeting after the organizational meeting, let's put it on the discussion agenda.
Understood.
You can have something written up, we can discuss it. Is that all right, Mr. Frank?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Next, I believe, is a work session. I had met with Dr. Boyd, myself, and Ms. Hoover when we were talking about the agenda. And I'm sorry I didn't call you because we had suggested the 23rd for the work session. But I believe that we're looking at more than 19th at 5 o'clock, which would be on Thursday for the work session. Dr. Boyd,
that's our school board office holiday party.
Oh, well, what about Friday, board members? Friday on 5 o'clock?
What about Monday, the 16th?
Or I could do it earlier that day. If that makes sense.
No, yeah. I'm worried about, well, not worried, but Miss Cleveland respecting her work schedule a little bit if we can. I'm concerned about Monday myself. Hold on. Is a Monday.
Evening, the evening of Monday, the 16th,
I think that's what we're talking about, Ms. Hoover, yes?
if possible.
Monday the 16th.
Monday the 16th, yeah.
That's
At 5.
Yeah, I'm, looks like I'm open. Yes, I'm available. Other board members, Monday the 16th? Everybody's okay with that?
Are we talking 5 or 6?
Yes, she said.
Their music room is that night.
The winter concert is at Sealson on the 16th.
My
You're
husband
good,
can
yeah.
take them if they
So it'd be okay for you to attend?
Yeah, it's okay.
Mr. Frank, Monday the 16th, Ms. Davis?
It appears fine, yes. Yes, sir.
Hoover, you're all right too?
Yes, I just need to know if it's 5 or 6. Either one is fine. We just need to.
Well, the earlier, it could be a long discussion. The earlier the better, I would think. 5 o'clock, can you do that, Miss Cleveland?
I can do 5.
All right.
And where?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Where do you suggest, Dr. Boyd?
It's a public meeting, so but we've had work sessions before. It's short notice. I don't know if UMW would be available We have school board office conference room, which is where we have the committee meeting.
Yeah, I think
Do
the
that?
school board office conference room is good because we can sit around the tables and discuss this. All right,
Okay.
so you're going to come with a whole lot of ideas and facts, Dr. Boyd, and we'll discuss them all as far, because this is primarily about the new facility.
Yes, this will be an open conversation about the new facility, capacity issues, and what we need to consider as a board moving forward with plans in the community.
We can
in
give some
terms of schools.
definitive answers to the Board of Supervisors.
I think at some point they'll request our attendance, and we just want to have an opportunity to
Right.
make sure that we're all on the same page before we present to them.
Sounds good. All right. And if that's not necessarily a voting item, it's just that we do need to vote on it, don't we?
Say that
Do
again.
we need to vote on having this work session on the 19th? I think we do.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah, we do. Do I have a motion to schedule on the agenda the work session for the
It's the 16th.
16th, sorry, for the 16th at 5 o'clock?
Yes, I make a motion that we schedule a work session on December 16th at 5 p.m.
I second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passed. It's on the agenda. All right. I believe we are at superintendent's report. No, committee report. Sorry. Committee reports. Start with Mr. Frank. You have a committee report, sir?
Yes, I did the CTE committee, which really went well. They've got a lot of stuff going on. It's really good. I unfortunately missed Title I and the health and safety or committees, but the CTA was doing well.
Good. Ms. Davis?
Yes, sir. I'm just going to read this, though, because it's something that they wanted us to let people know.
Sure.
Good afternoon. We would like to, this is the Chesapeake Bay Governor School. We would like to remind you that CBGS will be hosting open house events at each campus next week. Come meet teachers, see student work in our tour classrooms. We also encourage you to share these dates with any students and families you think might be interested in applying to Chesapeake Bay Governor Schools when they reach 9th grade. The director will be presenting a program overview for prospective students every half hour on the campus. And I guess our closest one would be Bowling Green. That's what would
Bowling
relate
Green.
to our schools. So that's Tuesday, tomorrow. I thought it was Wednesday for some reason, and I was going on Wednesday, but tomorrow, 6 to 7:30 p.m.
Good. Anything else? Is that it? Ms. Hoover?
On Wednesday, December 4th, the Gifted Advisory Committee meeting was held, and there's just a few things going on. The Governor's School Family Nights have been a success, and applications are now open until December 20th. Interviews and testing will begin in January. And King George High School Dual Enrollment Night will be held January 9th from 4:30 to 5:30. That's informational. Online scheduling opens for all high school students on January 9th. 8th grade visits to King George High School during the day on January 17th. King George High School freshman orientation will be held for all rising 9th grader students on January 30th. King George High School counselors go to the middle school for final scheduling with 8th grade students on January 31st. And the next Gifted Advisory Council meeting will be March 19th from 4:15 to 5:15. Also, a little bit further out in the future, it will be STEAM Night on March 20th, and they will have dinner before the actual big event. And then the next night was the Technology Advisory Committee meeting, and there's also a lot. That's a great committee. Also, there's a lot going on. We talked about new software, new Chromebooks, a lot of AI information coming down the pike with all kinds of AI options available to students and teachers and parents. First draft of the budget has been submitted to Dr. Boyd, and I guess the first meeting was one day last week. It was the day after this meeting. And we did talk about budgeting priorities as well in our 5-year technology plan. And I would just like to thank all the parents and the students that come out to that meeting because that's always a very informative and productive meeting. And that's all I got.
And Ms. Cleveland, I know you're not assigned, or yeah, you're not assigned yet. Well, you will be. All right, just briefly, ATI, the lab school, we didn't have a meeting, but she sends out pretty regular newsletters and reports. And they're having Spirit Week, December the 16th through the 20th, put on by the Student Association, Student Council. And then new applications are accepting for the 8th grade students who are interested in coming and joining the school for next year, because next year the ATI school will be both freshman and sophomore. They're going to obviously continue to grow until there's a complete school up to 12th grade. There's a PTO that's been organized by ATI. I'm impressed by Ms. Towery because she's got so many things so quickly in this first semester. They have a student organization, they have PTO, they have Spirit Weeks. Anyway, the parent-teacher organization, they're having fundraisers and honey baked ham fundraisers and so on. And academically, in the last meeting we had with them, they're doing very well. Anyway, so that's all that I have for the committee reports. So next is the superintendent's report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. So in about 11 hours from now, we have our CIP presentation to the county administrator and the budget advisory committee. So the CIP that we approved will present to the county tomorrow, and that'll be the first step in that process of approving capital improvement projects for the school division. I did have the opportunity last week to make public comment at the Board of Supervisors meeting. That comment was really threefold. Number one, it was to express our interest as a board in working in lockstep with the Board of Supervisors as we develop plans moving forward following the referendum. Secondly, we started talking a little bit about the budget and what that looks like. And then finally, I made a point about making sure that we work together and seeing if we can't have some additional opportunities to speak with and to sit down with our Board of Supervisors members as we begin to work through some very challenging projects. So that was a promising evening. I will tell you that in the last week or so, we have had the opportunity at the school board office to meet with some of our colleagues in Stafford. And then we've also had a follow-up meeting today. We're really exploring the opportunity of starting a full-time virtual program in King George. We've talked a little bit about this. I think this is an opportunity that could potentially serve the community very well. As you all know, we have a very high homeschool population, and I've met with a number of those representatives a number of times. This might be something that would perk their interest. And it may also be an opportunity for some of our students that are not adapting too well in our regular brick and mortar buildings to access a virtual program. There's great benefit to this. They would be full-time students that could access extracurricular activities, NJROTC program, theater program, all of the other things that many of our homeschool families and other families would like to access and still be considered a King George student. So we had a great meeting with Stafford, who's starting this program already, and we're laying the groundwork for seeing if we can't connect those dots on the King George side and see if we can't make that happen next year. And then finally, we're really knee-deep in the budget right now, and as soon as we get back after the organizational meeting, we'll have the budget presentation for the school board, and we're thick into budget season after that. So that's my report this evening, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. It's very exciting about the virtual system. My granddaughter's in it, and it's comprehensive, although it's difficult, like any online school is.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. Now, last but not least, we have our board comments. We'll start with Ms. Cleveland this time, putting you on the spot for the first time.
All right. I just wanted to say thank you to all the presenters that came tonight and all the recognition that we gave to the holiday card winners and the Teachers of the Year and, of course, the high school sports. Congratulations to them. And I just really enjoy seeing the kids' presentations at all these board meetings. One of the things that I did want to talk to in my board comment this evening was I had a parent contact me about a week or so ago, and their concern was not just I've heard this concern before, and I also personally have heard this, so I wanted to make the board aware. And they stated that they were going to send an email to the board and to Dr. Boyd, but I haven't seen that come through, so that's another reason why I wanted to make sure that I address this with you guys. So the concern was that their elementary school child has been struggling with reading, and this child is in 5th grade, going on into middle school next year. And so when we think about the kids that are in 5th grade right now, they were unfortunately on virtual learning during their kindergarten and 1st grade years, which are such fundamental years of being able to learn, reading and writing. And so throughout the years, other parents has also told me that they've been told by teachers, this has been a concern where these children have struggled with reading because of the virtual learning environment, because of being out of the classroom from COVID. And the concern is now, that fundamental reading is so important for them to be able to learn additional subjects. So they're struggling in other subjects as well, right? And so I guess my ask would be to Dr. Boyd if he could maybe provide some data or trends of these students that are in the 5th grade now, those that have been before them and after them, and how their testing scores are doing in comparison to those children before and after them. And if we did see that there is a pretty significant difference, if there's anything that we could talk about as a board to help give some intervention to those children. This particular child, and again, I want to just paint the picture for you because it's not really about that particular child. It's about all the children that could be struggling in this regard. But this particular child had been evaluated for, an IEP, and the testing determined that, he was absolutely fine, no IEP needed. However, the teachers did agree that this additional intervention would be very helpful for him. And so I just think it might be something we can consider if we do see like a statistical difference between those two.
Understood. Yep, that's good.
Thank you.
Ms. Hoover?
Family meeting.
I just want to thank everybody also who was here presenting. It's always a fun time of year before we close out the 2024 to see the good stuff that's going on. Congratulations to the athletes and the holiday card participants and winners. Congratulations to the teachers who work so hard all year long. And I just want to say thank you to especially the teachers at this time of year, because I know the next few weeks are going to be rough, but hang in there. The new year's coming and it's going to start all over. That's all.
Davis?
Piggyback on just everybody that came out today, all the awards that were given, but a big shout out to Miss Laura Leonard. I got to meet her a couple weeks ago, and she really is a fabulous human being. And so that was really cool to see her win that award, Teacher of the Year. The Education Foundation, Miss Lori Poole and Chris Buck. Chris Buck is my sister-in-law's mother, and I know personally how much most of us know here. They have that shop for, I know it as Fox is Smart, but what is it called now? Same thing, Fox Smart. Just how much time and energy that they put into that to provide supplies and things of that nature to the teachers and students. But to have a $2,400 in total grants is amazing. So thank you for all the hard work that went into that. Then I love seeing the children in the kindergarten, how cute they were. And just, I appreciate that the teachers actually look forward to bringing them to us when we're really the ones who are so thankful for what they do. But it was more of our honor than it was to see the work that they're putting into the kids and And so I love seeing that. And for her to say that she was excited to bring that before us touched my heart. So thank you. And that's it.
Frank?
Yes, I'd like to thank Pastor Shaw for the invocation that he did. The Pledge of Allegiance from the Chorus Club at Sealston Elementary was great. Those little kids did great. Congratulations to the holiday card winners, the Teachers of the Year, the King George Education Foundation, the high school sports, and the President's Award for the Educational Excellence. Congratulations to all those people that are there. For the teachers out there, Merry Christmas. It's been a long time coming. A year ago, or in January, this board set goals. Our goals, our number one goal was to remove or restrict the phone use within the schools. Our number two goal was to improve morale within the schools. Both of those things, I feel that we have failed at. The phones are still there. I was at one of the schools on Monday, and they were all over the place. The morale that is there, that I witnessed, is really bad. We had one of our students here today talk about morale being bad. The only thing this board can do, and what we do, is make policy. Unfortunately, we can't implement that policy. That is left to the building administrators. And it's the same thing with morale. I mean, that's for the phone, but it's the same thing for morale. We can give teachers a couple of days off. We can change a calendar here and there. We can fight for pay, and we can fight for insurance for them. But the morale comes from inside those buildings. And, you know, I just apologize to these teachers that are out there that are struggling through this, having to fight with the phones every day, having to fight with kids every day, and then having the morale issues that are there. And again, teachers, I just apologize. Thank you.
All right, I just have a couple of things to say. First of all, I also appreciated all of the awards, and even though we stood up like 15 times a day for pictures, I thought it was great for the athletics and for the Pledge of Allegiance, the chorus at Sealston, and then all of the Teachers of the Year, which is fabulous. And I know that they work very hard to receive that. And so I want to say how wonderful and pleased I was to see that. I did want to say a comment that one of our, I believe it was Eric, our middle school rep, that he had mentioned that too many tests, and that's one of my pet peeves, is that I just think we test too much. And it's like I know that's a lot to do with the state, but boy, I'd like to do whatever we can to, I think that would help with morale, to be honest, if there was less testing, both from the teacher side and the student side. I know we have so much accountability issues that the state continues to lay on us, mostly related to the legislature and then also the VDOE. And we can still make a lot of policies, and I'm not quite sure how to do this because some of it may kind of border, going against some of the Virginia code. We got to be very careful of that. But at the same time, boy, I would just like to see us focus, which I think has a direct impact to the morale, of seeing if we could just somehow do less testing. Anyway, that's all that I have. And yeah, that's it. So if nobody has any further business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We're adjourned.